Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Yeah, here we are. We're live. We have a super special show today. One, because as usual, a lot of things happened in America. So we have a really fun news show. Melissa's only going to be with us for the first half of the show. So say hello to her now. And then we have two exciting individuals who have been on our calendar for like several weeks / months to talk about the SBIR program. And I believe we're going to hear some of the drama as to how it was reauthorized, right? As well, probably. We don't actually know, which is normal for us. So it's going to be exciting. And also the commander, who has a real name, Michael Banyas, but is lovingly known to our entire company and the talk show and probably our entire audience as the commander, is going to talk to us about how, if you're an aspiring entrepreneur and young company and you want to save America, he has a program for you. So he's going to tell you about that. So yeah. Anyway, Melissa, anything you want to say before we kick our guests to the back and remove them from the possibility that they're liable for our bullshit?
No, I'm excited to hear what they got to say.
I'm more excited to hear what you have to say.
Well, hopefully you stay on. Hopefully we don't scare you.
I told her she can jump back on if she wanted to. Like, I explained to her how to do it. So
you totally can. I mean, like, we're here for you. So, okay, Commander, Jennifer, we're sending you to the back. Melissa, we'll send you to the back too. We know you got to go. Lisa, you've been everywhere. I actually didn't think you were coming home again, but you are home.
Yeah. I mean, we're just all lucky that United Airlines was on time, or else I might not be here at all. You'd have to do this show by yourself.
Yeah, that would suck.
That would suck.
Yeah, I don't even know what would happen then. Well, I don't know. I'd probably
No.
make Leslie do it, but
Yesterday, if you had the displeasure of needing to travel yesterday, last couple of days, it's been kind of a meltdown moment in a lot of the US with very bad weather, including tornadoes. I luckily did not see any tornadoes. I skipped right around Chicago, which I think had some real tornadoes or something like that. It was very, very bad. But luckily, all my timings were great, and I just hopped on the United regional jet this morning from Minneapolis and scooched right here. No Wi-Fi. That was a real special. That was a special experience. No Wi-Fi. They promised me Wi-Fi, and then it wasn't there, and I had to just stare at the wall. That's
yeah. You know, I've been flying the same. I believe it is the exact same airplane for 9 years now.
Probably.
Flying out to the Great Salt Lake. It's the same fucking plane. It's
same
old.
plane.
There's panels falling out. Like, I don't know why that's the one
great.
they fly.
That's
and
great.
Every time I get on that flight, they're like, our Wi-Fi doesn't work. Sometimes they say, oh yeah, it's working. And then they restart it 7 times.
And they lie. They're like, JK, not working.
It's like the same one. Yeah. Anyway, well, I'm glad you're here.
I was like navigating from the window because like I didn't have there was no internet at all. So obviously I was like, where are we? How long? There was no screen. So I was like looking out. I was like, is that like Mono Lake? Like, what are we, like, what's going on here? Like, it was just, I was truly like I was like an explorer navigating.
Yeah, you had to use landmarks and like celestial
bodies.
Use
landmarks.
It's amazing.
Brilliant.
All right. Well, Lisa was a million places, which she may or may tell us about if we still have time.
Yeah.
But as usual, okay, I also want to say, you all, while we may have misrepresented the commander multiple ways in this image, it is a great honor to ever be included in one of our show images, because we don't plan.
Misrepresented.
And I don't know. Like, I don't know if we have him in the right uniform. We put him on a ship. I think Max was like, this guy went to the Naval Academy. So therefore, like, I think there was just a lot of confusion.
Good stuff. I like the eagle. The eagle in the background is quite the touch. I mean, Max really some of their best work for sure.
Yeah. We did learn that this is a maybe 10 to 15-year-old photo of the commander, but you know what? That's what's on his LinkedIn, so I'm not to tell you guys. Okay.
It's fine.
I think some shit happened this week. Okay, well, first of all, we got these guys coming on. This is from a past show. As you can see, it's the same headshot. I don't know what to tell you, Commander. Okay. This was an exciting series of things that kind of blew up on Twitter today, which I'm excited about only because it's so ridiculous. Okay, so first, New York Times publishes this piece I think we all read earlier in the week. Cheryl Gay Stolberg about RFK basically being a figurehead and how he doesn't do stuff. And Stephanie Spear is like doing everything for him, which like I'm pretty sure everybody said since this guy got in. So like, I don't know why all of a sudden he took offense and wrote a super rant on Twitter /X.
Wait, can I just interrupt you to say, I am in the market for a chief of staff who will do my work. I would like to not do anything please, if anyone wants to be my chief of staff, their pay is zero, but like we can pretend that I did it, and then like, please,
100%.
I'm in the
Yeah.
market for this.
I mean, I
Jesus.
will say whatever happened, the way Stephanie Spear is represented in this article, this New York Times article, holy shit, like how do we get one of those? Like this
She's running
person,
shit. She's doing
yeah,
it.
sounds like she's doing it all. She's not in
Oh
the
my
spotlight.
God.
I don't know if she gets paid any money or more than like $20. I have no idea.
I think she's doing
But,
it for the glory, which is frightening, but
I
true,
guess
probably.
so. I guess so. And I guess there's not enough glory involved with being my chief of staff for that to be like a real thing, but I don't know.
Your whole team is like, WTF, Kat.
Yeah, they're all like, Kat, you already don't do your job. We do it for you. Like, I'm pretty sure that's what they're saying. Like, I think if Brittany's watching, she's like, are you fucking
She's like,
kidding me?
wow.
She's like, you literally do whatever you want. And I have
hate
to do
you.
all the hard things.
Right.
Where's Melissa? Melissa's like dying. She's like rolling her eyes.
She's
Okay.
shaking her
Anyway.
head now.
Okay. Anyway, yeah. Stephanie Spear is basically running HHS, or was, it sounds like, until now Chris Klomp is in charge, according to this article,
Yep,
which
according
I
to
think
the
we
article.
all also, I don't know, we're not the real media, but we already reported on all of this based on all the other media.
Yeah.
So like, basically, we're, you know, we're the best. So anyway, but then RFK, for whatever reason, got super mad at this article, even though there have been many worse things written about this gentleman. So it's this super rant about how she's fake news. They're going to cut her off. They like blacklist all these reporters. Actually say this, like, we won't talk to media who don't say nice things about us. It goes on and on and on. Like, this was like a read that took me several minutes at least in the morning while drinking my coffee while I was procrastinating to go work out. Like, this isn't even it. It goes on and on. And then it goes on to say, Lisa, in California, it's like, and I did so much. Thanks, Michael.
Yes, you can, Michael.
We have some unhinged things to talk. I mean, more than usual. We have some unhinged things to talk about on the show. But so it goes on, and then it goes on to say, like, I'm so much better than Becerra. And that dude, that crazy guy, is now running for whatever in California. And
he's like very likely to become the governor of California. Like, that's just what's happening right now.
It's like this insane unhinged thing. The argument with him saying Cheryl is a terrible reporter is that you could see how much I do if you just looked at my public calendar. That is the theme of this whole thing, saying she's wrong. However, this morning Stat came out with an article saying
funny.
we have tried to FOIA your calendar for a year.
Does he mean like public to other HHS employees? I'm not sure what he meant by this one.
This is so good. So yes, there's this whole stat piece that's like, hey, if there's a public calendar, someone let us know where it is, because we can't find it. And we've submitted FOIAs for it. And then Cheryl comes back and says, I have requested the calendar by FOIA in September 2025. Still no response. And then some other reporter goes on to say, I have submitted a FOIA request 5 times to get this calendar.
Well.
Oh my God, it's so good. So like, okay, like, here's the thing. I get like being mad and want to write something mean on the internet about how great you are. Like, I am here for that. Everybody knows that. But like, maybe he's so out of touch that he didn't know he doesn't have a public calendar.
Yeah. I don't love it.
Also, the article that Cheryl writes goes on to talk about a very not public spreadsheet of RFK's priorities that is maintained, I believe, offline by Stephanie Spear, that you cannot see, and only a few people have glanced at it once in a while. So I think this is it. I would imagine these do seem like legitimate publications that we respect. I do believe that the public calendar is not, in fact, public. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I see it, like, again, like, if you really have nothing to hide, then just share information. You know, I don't understand why you have to make all these statements like it's unprecedented how available I am. You know, like, HHS secretary is obviously a very difficult job. There is a ton of shit happening at all times. Some that is like not public and will never be public, like, ever. So there's no need to be dramatic about it. Like, even probably the worst HHS secretary like can't avoid like incredible amounts of shit that like most people never see. The end.
Well,
right?
I will say the article that Cheryl writes goes on to interview other HHS secretaries who were also like from.
Oh no, I feel like she has the receipts, huh?
Yeah, like because obviously, like no, and even says like heavily critiqued at the time for her response to anthrax,
Nah.
right? Or like
Right.
sued for the ACA, like all these things,
Right.
right? Like it's very critical. And
It's
they're
not
like,
an
yeah,
easy job, man. It's
this
not
is
a
a
job I
freaking
would ever want to
like,
have.
and
Thank you
they'll
very
say like
much.
this
Woo.
is a freaking hard job, but like also like anyway. So then there's so much great stuff on Twitter about this. Like again, back to communications 101. Typically, you don't go on a super rant if someone says something mean about you when you're the secretary for HHS, the United States of America. I feel like he caused so much more drama by tweeting about this
You
than
just say nothing. As we keep saying, as we have said a million times on this fake news show,
shut
you
the
just
fuck
literally
up.
say, you shut the fuck up. You say
Shut the
nothing.
fuck up.
You say
Yeah.
nothing.
Touch grass. Touch grass.
Touch
Shut
grass.
the fuck up.
Touch
Have a
grass.
glass of wine
Easy.
with someone you love. Call Lisa
Easy
Berry.
peasy.
Marco
Easy
Polo
peasy.
Lisa about your feelings.
Easy
Do not go on
peasy.
Twitter. Do not
Nope.
go on Twitter. Okay,
Nope.
moving on, but not really. Okay, also, so
This is the real. I mean, that's a bit of a distraction, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh wow, how dramatic! Don't attack the reporters. Blah blah blah. This is where shit's about to get real, in my opinion.
Okay, so the AMA, as Lisa, I believe, noted multiple times, they were being pretty nice to RFK. They were like, hey, we like you. You might like us. And if you don't like us, we can make you like us. And now their membership is like, we don't like you.
We're America's doctors and we don't like you.
So just like Congress appears to have come back to work once in a while, or at least the YOLO caucus has decided to come to work. They're coming in. America's doctors have decided that they also are around again. So they have some opinions. Read this great piece in Politico. Basically, they're just saying they no longer want to pursue the lobbying approach of being the nicest guys ever.
Well, this is what happens, right? You have all these associations, right? All these groups, and they're like, how can we, figure out the right, this is a good one, Michael. How can we figure out the right approach to work with the administration? Everybody wants to work with the administration. They want to figure out like, okay, they have priorities. We have priorities. That's the whole thing, right? And so just like everything else, the AMA, went down that path in the beginning of this administration. And then I think they just literally had like a revolt from their members who said like, we don't want you to do this anymore. Do something different. Like the membership does not agree. And that's unfortunately, I'm not comparing myself to the person who leads the AMA. It was probably a doctor whose name I don't know. I have led a member organization. You have ultimately you have priorities that are set, and then your members can say like, absolutely not.
Yeah, member organizations, the worst. Consensus-based leadership, not my thing. But
in this case, they're like, you need to change the way that you are approaching this. We do not want you to be best friends with the administration and HHS.
Yeah. So not great. Also this morning, the intrepid Chris Klomp received awesome press.
Again. Oh my God.
Basically running healthcare in America. So that's great.
Wow. Wow.
There was only one person in here who said he was making decisions without authority. And that person was fired. So I think that was just a disgruntled person. But
Democrats say he's RFK Jr.'s babysitter. Oh man, what a subhead there.
I don't know. But all I can say is Democrats, please
Chris.
do not be too insane because we kind of need this. I don't know.
This guy's good. He's in my opinion the best thing happening at HHS these days. Sorry. Since we know he's listening, Dr. Tom Keene is still, way up there for us.
Tom,
we're not going to give a rating. We're not going to give a rating. We're not giving a rating. I'm not giving a rating.
The man. Listen, Tom Keene. When it comes to standards and interoperability, you are like the coolest thing that's ever happened.
The very best. Very best.
Okay. All right. Moving on here. But so all this, there's been a lot of press about RFK this week. And also then this amazing rumor came on the LinkedIn or the Twitter, because I was on Twitter a lot today, copying screenshots and stuff. So I just love the HHS rapid response. So Dr. Malone, I believe
Isn't this guy? Hang on a second. I feel like
he is an RFK loyalist, and he is on the.
Yes, he's a true believer, right? He's a
believer.
Yeah, he's the guy who says he invented mRNA. That's who he was.
Obviously.
Yes.
So this is coming from an individual who is closely aligned with RFK, a loyalist, and it was appointed to ASIP. Breaking very active rumor mill currently with specifics from senior U.S. government employees that RFK Jr. will be leaving as Secretary HHS in July after the 4th, obviously after Independence Day and America's birthday. Meeting was apparently held last Monday. Oz, two-head transition team. And then HHS representatives, this is utterly false.
The girlies are fighting. This is really like in public, you guys. Like, please. What is happening? Everyone calm down.
That's the thing. Like,
Like, cat. If you were like North Korea, if you were Kim Jong-un, would you be like,
100%.
I don't have to do anything. I just wait. I just sit back. I just like read Twitter or whatever. Like, come on, stop it.
I was telling someone this morning about all of my enemies and how, earlier in my career, my intent was to acquire so much riches and power so that I could destroy them. And the problem was that it's taking me so long that I've like made up with a lot of them on the way, or they've like come and apologized. And I'm like, oh, it turns out if you just sit around, problem solve themselves. So I do feel like you're correct. Like, I feel like our colleagues in North Korea,
Putin is like, you know what?
Well,
we're just going to sit this one out. Like, there is nothing for us to do here. We just wait. Like, come on. Whoever's leading Iran is like, they're like, because I genuinely actually have no idea who is leading Iran right now. Like, whoever is leading Iran is just like, we're good.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, the U.S. government is fighting with itself.
Not good, you guys. Not good.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, that's what I'll say about this. I don't know if RFK is leaving. I don't know if any of this is true. What I can say
I have
is
no
that
idea.
someone needs to do something with your comm staff, federal government. Like, I know they're probably terrified, and you fired a lot of people who probably were a little bit more in the middle. But like, you guys need to like just ask Claude. I know you don't. Oh, you don't like Anthropic because they wouldn't give you. You couldn't like bomb countries.
I think they do again. Actually,
like Anthropic now. Oh, okay.
I think it's all very hard to keep track of. Yeah.
Okay. Well, ask whoever is doing your AI. Just ask them what would be the appropriate response. I'm pretty sure this is not it. I don't know. It's very confusing to me. Okay, moving on. It was Dr. Oz's birthday this week. So cute. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they had a prior auth working session, which was part of the new part of the health tech ecosystem thing. And apparently that's an axe, as Ryan is saying. Apparently Ryan wasn't there, but he has a picture of this where they're cutting the kill the clipboard cake. Yeah. Oh, this is a photo from Steve Posnack.
They are killing the clipboard, it appears, with axes and also cutting a cake at the same time.
Oh, wow. Am I finding this out in real time? I mean, I'd read before. He's saying that Steve Posnack coined Axe to Facts. No, false. That was me and Alex Muggy back in the day. Why does everyone always steal all my sayings? God damn it.
Well, I don't know, Lisa. I think it's because people hate women.
Unbelievable. Alex Muggy. Credit goes to Alex Muggy and myself. Alex is a woman, in case you didn't know. Alex Muggy and Lisa Berry. Literally, my Alex Muggy in my phone is a fax machine from back in the day when
can you write that on the LinkedIn comments? That
unbelievable.
Just to give credit where credit's due, Lisa Berry and Alex Muggy.
Alex Muggy. Give credit to Alex.
Coined kill the clipboard, and it appears a bunch of dudes took it. I don't know. This is all unconfirmed.
So funny. No, don't do it because Ryan. No, this is going to make Ryan very sad. He was very mad. Remember how we accused him of using AI for his post, and he got really mad. So don't accuse him. Don't. We'll just let it sit.
Do you think? Okay. Do you think? Because when you first posted this on our Slack channel to include. There were so many emojis up here that I actually wonder if Ryan is now overusing emojis to emphasize the fact that he does not use AI to do emojis.
I bet he is, Ryan.
Oh my God.
We love you, Ryan. Okay. Don't worry.
But I will say this credit to Ryan for the Kill the Clipboard paper and content and his colleagues, who I don't know, David Lee, because it obviously has had a huge impact and,
it had an impact.
Health tech ecosystem and a lot of interoperability moves in America. So that's exciting. Anyway, happy birthday, Dr. Oz. Everyone tells me you're the man. So happy birthday.
What a great way to spend your birthday in a HHS conference room.
Yeah.
God.
Doing like what appears to be a listening session. Damn. tell you what,
So grim.
dedication and serving your country. That's all I want to say about that.
So
Okay,
grim.
SpaceX went public. Yeah. My kids have been so excited about the SpaceX IPO. They don't even know what that really means, but they have these little kid accounts for investing, and they have all bought ETFs that will buy. I told them you should not buy SpaceX because you also, are little babies. But they have bought ETFs, index funds that will be buying SpaceX, and they're very excited. So big deal.
Yeah.
Big deal for America.
Well, I mean, it's rough. Hopefully this actually goes to all those people. Elon himself is going to be a trillionaire, which is very upsetting. But whatever.
I just hope I will say Elon does seem to keep investing his money and doing epic shit, like deciding to go to Mars. So he does that stuff. I hope we have some colonies. That would be cool. Also, because then the colonies will secede from Earth, and then we'll have big drama. So think of that. Think of the talk show when that happens, Lisa. It's gonna be crazy. Okay, but the reason I even put this in there is because Epic had this very adorable post
these
today.
fucking guys, honestly. I wish they weren't whoever is running the Hey Epic account. We've talked about this before. Wait, can you hear me? Kat, are you still there?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I don't
your sound was jacked. Okay. We've talked about this before, but whoever started the Hey Epic account at Epic is unfortunately hilarious. And as much as I might be mad at them for various reasons, their Twitter is always so good. This is amazing. Wow. Just really incredible. Kat, check in. What are you doing? Wake up.
I'm doing stuff. I'm just checking stuff out. Okay. So, yeah, I would like, dear Epic, please tell us who runs this account because we would like to know. Also, super hilarious. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. This was just something funny you sent me, Lisa, more about IPOs. So this is about, Lisa sent this. It's a McSweeney's piece. It's pretty hilarious. I cut most of it off, but it basically talks about IPO math. So it says here, acquiring one grape cost Alex $2 billion. Alex offers to sell Mike one grape for 1 month for the next 12 months. $1 billion per grape. Alex asks for the first $12 billion up front. Basically, he makes $10 billion in the first month and decides that his ARR is $120 million or $120 billion. But this is actually how startup math works, you guys. This is how we calculate ARR. It's like, oh, well. So I do think it's very fair to be talking about all of this stuff. Yeah. Okay. Lisa, this was something hilarious that you said.
Yes, this is amazing. I don't know this guy Adam, but apparently he's like a financial advisor or influencer, and he was just laughing about this very personalized sort of welcome hometown pharmacy number 55 customers. I think it was a takeover from Walgreens, and he's like, way to make us feel like we're really important to you. They're using they're taking a page out of Big Prison's playbook, which famously empowers the individuality of their constituents by referring to people as inmate 472 instead of Robert, which is like, I mean, listen, like, I agree again, like messaging, like public positioning. This is not it. Like the people in your town don't want to be known as pharmacy number 55. Guys, come on.
So good. As much as I've always been a proud Grand Rapidian, I've always been proud to be from
Walgreens District 55. That's just like amazing. I cried. I was like, this is too much. But like literally, like how does this happen, guys? Like just pharmacy, like retail pharmacy is already so bad. This is just like, wow. I definitely believe that you're committed to caring for me and my healthcare needs. Thank you.
100%. Love it.
100%.
A+
Love it.
here. Okay. So speaking of crazy things that happened on the internet in our very small nerd sector, Lisa, I don't know. Have you heard of this company, Interfaceware? Did you see this on the internet?
Oh, I saw something about this.
So I was on a call with another company, and they were like, "Kat, have you seen this?" And I was like, and I've never heard of this company, to be clear. And they were like, "Oh, it's like kind of blowing up the industry." So this company, Interfaceware, I guess they do interoperability stuff. I don't know. And this is the homepage of their website. And so their CEO, whose name is Elliot, apparently went on a bender for 24 hours and just like wrote all this crazy shit on their website and also a ton of crazy shit on LinkedIn. And their product, which is Iguana, talking about that, and then accusing a bunch of their competitors for like being scared of them, and like a whole freaking thing. And so I was like, and I was on a call supposing to be smart when I saw this, and so I only read a little bit of it. And I was like, this actually looks like someone who's mentally unwell. It was my initial thought. Like, this is not a company making bad choices. This is not an ego play, as we saw before, whatever it was, right? This is someone who someone needs to check on. And then I did check before posting this. This is the CEO. He has a whole bunch of wild posts, but basically he's saying he went and killed his own baby because somehow the state of Arizona is forcing him to sign over all of his stuff to, it sounds like maybe his board of directors, honestly. Like, it's all very confusing, but it looks like this gentleman was upset about something legal. Or
this doesn't
otherwise
change the perspective that he might be having like a mental breakdown. Because again, I mean, if you're being forced to like give up your company, it's probably because there was like some major like financial impropriety or some major situation where like, I don't know, you're being sued or you're being shut down for some reason. So like, it doesn't really dispel the rumors.
Yeah, not great. So then I guess he decided to just destroy his company on the internet. So
cool.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't have done this, but
yes.
Okay. Okay. So another exciting business news. It looks like a Bridge and NVIDIA are like having a baby.
Well, I don't know about that. But we do know that a bridge is like moving full into their like healthcare AI takeover of the world vibes, right? Like they've leaned hard into their pivot from more than scribing to be like a full like clinical AI situation. And as part of that, they are trying to develop an healthcare AI specific model with NVIDIA. So TBD, I mean, not a bad idea. I thought about it myself, and we'll see. We'll see who gets there fastest.
See what happens. We'll see what happens. Wiser. So Lisa, does this mean Wiser is actually dead, or that it's just not included in a funding thing?
No. It's not even final. This is just like one more move from Congress to, continue to make statements and pass things that may at some point in the future come true. This just limits a particular type of funding, or they want to limit a particular type of funding. None of these things that you're reading about, and this is like, my opinion, knock on wood, only representing myself here, is that, in the future, depending on what happens in the midterm, sometime next year, if they still want to do this, they might be able to shut it down. But it's far off at this point and not at all confirmed. There's been a lot of fun chatter about this on HTN. And I think I will just like subtly just put out there that, have you heard of Medicare Advantage? That's my response. Wait until you hear about Medicare Advantage.
Wait until you hear what half of American seniors are on. More than half, right?
Yeah, more. I think more than half now. Yeah. So
more than
this
half
is one of those. This is a very like political football situation. Lots of news, a lot of noise. Not a lot of action right now, as far as I can tell. Personal opinion only.
I don't know. Well, it also depends on if Congress decides to continue coming to work, which is a touch and go situation. So we'll see.
Listen, I appreciate every day that members of Congress show up to represent the people in their districts. Thank you. To 100%. Do stuff, to do actual 100%. Things.
All right, last story in our news story until we asked Lisa what she did all the past 2 weeks. This is Dr. Oz and Kennedy coming out and talking about pricing transparency in hospitals. This is something that was a priority in Trump 1.
Yeah.
They're making another push for it in Trump 2. I don't think this is a bad thing, but I did see a bunch of research. I know it's weird, saying that the likelihood that prices will actually go up is higher if all hospitals post their pricing, because then they'll know what the ceiling is and go.
Yeah, I mean, we've gone back and forth on this debate for a long time. I think price transparency seems like it's a good idea. I genuinely appreciate what I really think it should be done for is for patients, right? There was this whole proposal around advanced EOB, explanation of benefits. Again, I think that patients deserve like full transparency about what something will cost before they actually have to incur that cost, either through like a high deductible or through a copay or whatever else. And I know that some of the initial like the ideas behind it at first were to do this the way that it's actually been done, and this is not from this administration, it's from many years ago from Congress, et cetera, is to try to publish like hospital prices in a particular format. There were a bunch of companies that formed around it. So like idea is generally good. I don't know that we've actually gotten to like the delivery in a form that will matter a lot for patients. And I think at this point, like what I would most like to see is advanced EOB like being fully enforced, like full I can't talk, price transparency for patients. So literally what it's going to cost. Have you ever like asked when you go into the doctor, like, what is this going to cost? Because they will be like, we don't know.
No.
And it's really dumb.
But would you
Like they can't tell
would
you.
you like to hear a ridiculous story?
Yes.
Yeah, no one can tell you anything. So I actually
No one can
asked
tell you
'cause I
anything.
had
They're like,
a
shrug.
minor- well, I actually avoided a minor medical procedure by doing it myself, as you know, at home. And my doctor charged me for it anyway.
Amazing. Quality.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, I paid my copay. I had the 15-minute consult. I said, I can do that myself. Went home and they still charged me for the procedure.
That's
and it also
insane.
was $300 more than I told you it was going to cost. So not only did I have to say you never did this, it was more. The fake phantom procedure was also more, they said.
Unfreaking believable. But
I know. Yeah, Lisa, what else happened this week? You went to
I was at
something.
two conferences, a Rural Health Summit, a Rural Health Transformation Summit in DC with the Health Policy Futures Lab folks. Kate Sapra from CMS spoke at the end. We had a bunch of 32 states there doing all kinds of cool stuff and just talking about it. What I will say is where people are with this whole RHTP funding thing is they are saying we do not have enough information yet from CMS. And I know CMS is very busy and don't have a lot of people, but they're like, the reports are due in like less than 2 months now, and things are really just getting started. So heard a lot of questions and frustration from states and folks who are supporting them about that. More questions than answers. And then what I'm understanding is this first year has very much been like setting things up in many ways. A lot of the spend has been coming from like consultants to set up all the systems. Shocker, because it's really hard to do these things from scratch. And all 50 states are doing them. So that's very challenging. Heard that. And then I went to Minneapolis for the America's Essential Hospitals. That is the Public Hospital and Health System Association conference with partners at AWS and a few others, and met some cool people doing cool stuff. Public hospitals like do not get obviously as much attention from the technology community because they obviously have very little money and they're working on very, very thin margins, but they also need help. And so that was an interesting one, and some really cool projects. One I posted about it on the LinkedIn. A couple of people came up and they're like, I feel like I know you. I was like, you probably have seen my, I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm extremely online. If you work in healthcare, you may have unfortunately seen my name somewhere. Sorry. This one project, they won one of the awards from the association it was at University of Kentucky, is called Empath. It's like a diversion for the psychiatric emergency care. And it's like amazing what they have done in a pretty short amount of time. They've already served 10,000 people in the state in their catchment area. And they basically were like, we can spend like 15 hours with someone and like get them connected to services they would not otherwise be able to be connected to, and make sure they don't go into the ER. And we have psychiatrists on staff and we have social workers and it's like taking them out of that stressful moment. And, going into the ER with a psychiatric emergency, I can only imagine, is not fun and not very helpful and not a good environment. And they have like a totally different environment right next to the ER. And it's like, that's the kind of, kind of project that can make a huge difference in people's lives and get them, back on track. So programs like that were things that they were awarding. It was really cool. So shout out to them.
That's awesome. High five, shout out. I didn't go anywhere this week, which is super cool. And then, so one announcement before we transition to an actual real part of our show. So, I'm the co-chair of Health Data Palooza with my best friend, Andrew Ibrahim, one of my best friends.
Amazing.
This is like my real best friend. if you have sent me a LinkedIn message asking to be a speaker at that conference and you are the chief marketing officer of a vendor organization, please know we do not have a call for speakers. If you would like to speak at Health Data Palooza, it is a community sponsored event. You need to sponsor it. Please do not send me douchey replies when I tell you that, saying that like you only do earned speaking placements.
Cool.
Go fuck yourself.
Kat,
Go
Kat, what do we
earn
say?
them somewhere
Kat,
else.
no, Kat, what do we say when somebody says that? What do we say? What do we say? We say, you didn't earn it.
Oh, I forgot that. I said so many things. It's hard to remember.
You didn't earn it.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Please, like, don't be a jerk. Just because you're like sponsoring something does not mean if you're like a organization and you want to sponsor this, they're still not going to let you speak, right? Like, but if you're awesome, you do get to sponsor and speak. Congratulations. So, okay. So as you all know, I firmly believe that Republicans love business more than the Democrats. Lisa obviously agrees with me so much. But anyway, so thank you, President Trump, for reauthorizing the SBIR program, because as we've said at least twice on our show, a bet on small business is a bet on America. So we have, let's bring him back up on stage, Commander Michael Banyas and Jennifer Hawks Bland to talk to us. I actually don't know exactly what you guys are going to say to us, but I believe you're going to tell us about small business in America and things being awesome.
Yeah. Yes. So, hey, Kat. So first, I'm Mike Banyas, and I'm speaking at my personal capacity, not on behalf of the department, but yeah. So like one of the things Jen and I wanted to talk about is that, you know, with SBIR, the Small Business Investment Program, which puts about $1.4 billion, at least from the NIH side, and billions more on the defense, NASA, and energy side, there was a delay in reauthorization. And one of the things I most appreciate about working with Jen as the head of New York Bio is that, you know, we're both congressional staffers. So, you know, it was Jen's an extremely smart strategist, but she also like could communicate to me and be like, this is where I kind of see some of the thorny issues, like with the SBIR mills, and, you know, if reauthorization lapse, like this is how it's going to impact, say, businesses in New York. And I just wanted to introduce Jen. You know, I can talk more about SBIR at a later date because we're just kind of getting our outreach materials up. It was reauthorized on April 21st. But, you know, Jen's a great example of where it's super important that as members, you invest in your, I guess, like, I don't know, in your associations, your trade societies, because they're the ones advocating to Congress and the executive branch and leading for you and saying, hey, this is going to have an impact in our district. And with congressmen running every 2 years, you know, that has a direct, you know, that has an immediate impact on, you know, if jobs or money is not getting into that district, but also the economic impact it has. And as a pro-business person, you know, just as Jen has, you know, she can illustrate, particularly from a New York case study, what the lapse in reauthorization happened from September 30th to its reauthorization in April 20th. And, you know, just the impact it had on New York life sciences, which impact how cures are developed and eventually get into patients. So Jen is probably my favorite partner, and I am so grateful that I can introduce her, and just grateful for her in so many ways that I know I gush over her all the time. So,
well, with that intro, right? Like I could just hang up now. So no, but Lisa and Kat, thanks so much for having us both on. And to level set for everyone, because people may or may not know what New York Bio is. And I know it sounds like Mike has talked, you know, a couple of different times about SBIR, but New York Bio is a trade association, and our members are everything from very small startups, like think of a 2-person spin out right out of academia, out of some of our world-class academic centers in New York, to large pharma companies. My background is in pharma. I most recently, before I came to New York Bio, was at Merck for almost a decade doing both federal and state advocacy. So the beauty of a trade association is that, like a state biotech association, is that we have the ability to take information impact from the entire ecosystem when we're looking at a policy proposal, right? In this case, it wasn't a policy proposal, it was a policy failure, right? When Congress failed to reauthorize SBIR, STTR on time, and that created the lapse, right, that Michael talked about. And really for, life science, healthcare, health tech companies, the fight, and I'm air quoting it, right, between members of Congress over that held up the reauthorization didn't have that much to do with our companies, meaning the life science, the healthcare, right? The arguments around the reauthorization were in some other portions of the program because it's a very broad program. I think my stats, it's about $70 billion over the last several decades to about 30,000 small businesses, right? So huge program, hugely impactful. I think 40 plus years, right, that it's been in operation. And when we look, at least when I look at New York companies, like the impact that Michael mentioned, the fact that we have small companies trying to extend their run rate, right? They're in the lab, or they're headed to the clinic, and they are really relying on that de-risking capital from the SBIR, STTR program, which then helps them be ready for, it makes them investable, right? And so it helps them de-risk in order to attract equity investment. And so one thing that we found here in New York is we actually lead the nation in biotech R&D spending. And we are consistently in the top 3, sometimes top 2, depending on which data you look at, right? It's all about where you slice the data.
Understood.
Yeah, exactly, right. As to where we fall, right, on drawing down NIH funding specifically. So just with those 2 stats alone, that a lapse in this critical early stage funding disproportionately affects our community. And so we really worked hard. I led a national working group of other state biotechs, right, which have amazing early stage, discovery organizations all across the country in trying to really get the ball rolling on reauthorizing it again, because it's a early stage lifeblood that we needed to reinstate.
I think one of the things I also love that, Jennifer's got one of the strongest state bio associations out there. And I think one of the things I absolutely love about her leadership and strategic thinking is she engages with the state level, with the governor's office, but also it's not just New York City focused. Like, she just had a pitch event up in Syracuse yesterday. When I was talking to her, she was driving back from Long Island, but she goes up to Rochester. And I think that's like also one of the other things that, SBIR is important about, is it's just not getting funding out into the bio hubs of Boston and Silicon Valley. Like, it's got a national reach, but it's also meant to, help people that might not have access to those capital streams and say, down in like Manhattan.
So Jennifer, we had a gentleman, a lobbyist for the behavioral health industry, on talking about how the stunts that were pulled and the attention that was required to pull off something like this, right? And so you're even saying it was a very long process, which I kind of love hearing. Like, we love hearing the war stories, right? Because a lot of people will do the flash in the pan, and then not realizing that you have to be prepared to run a marathon to get something done. So can you tell us the war story?
In general, right? So I think what I can tell you and what I think people should take away is engaging, right? So what we did was we obviously engaged each member of Congress, right, from states with strong biotech associations. And then what we did was I arranged for a meeting with the cabinet secretary for small business, Kelly Loeffler, and we took in entrepreneurs, we took in state biotech representatives, and we sat down at a round table with her before the program expired to talk about the importance of the program to our sector. Then we did a Hill briefing, right, on the House side and we brought in entrepreneurs from across the country and we had them talk about the importance of this early stage de-risking program. And, in New York, we were, very lucky to have Representative Nydia Velasquez as the ranking member on the House Small Business Committee. So she certainly is a champion for small businesses everywhere, but certainly those in her backyard, right, in New York. And so we had that piece of the puzzle was important. And then we actually did boots on the ground lobbying, which is telling those stories. Like, here in New York, literally, 10 miles down the road from where I'm sitting right now, Sapience Therapeutics, they just announced some amazing, trial results, right, at ASCO a few weeks ago. They leveraged NCI SBIR funding, and now they've received orphan drug designation for, one of the programs that they have, and they're really moving the needle on treatment options for cancer patients. And that was underwritten early by this grant funding, which allowed them to attract investment. So it all plays together. So I think my war story is less dramatic and more engage, right? Get in there, learn what you need to say about the impact on your business if you're a small entrepreneur, and make sure you're working with someone to help you have access to the right members of Congress, but also their staff. As a former 21-year-old Hill staffer, I recognize that not everyone wanted to talk to me, right? They wanted to talk to my boss or my boss's boss, but at the same time recognizing that the information that you give to our elected officials is important, no matter sort of where it goes in the process.
Yeah.
I think one of the other things too that was interesting was, in nerding out with Jen about, it expired on the 30th. Are they going to throw it in the CR to reopen the government, or are they going to put it in the Non-Defense Act? Okay, well, and even though I'm speaking on my own personal capacity and not really talking about my day job, it's we can't lobby, like, even on my own time. I can't exactly go and like knock on Chris Murphy's door or, so like I can't knock on
I'll do it for you, no problem.
Like, hey, can you do this for, my workplace? Like, that's a big no-no. So that was kind of like fun, kind of like, being like, Jen, do you think it's going to get in here? In fact, when the House voted on it for reauthorization, her and I were sitting together at the NASDAQ in New York. And it was so nice because I knew how much work she had put in it. But at the same time, like, it's an example of she engaged early. She had a strategy. Like, and Jen, this is my opinion. You know how I felt about that, some of the lobbyists that kind of came late to the game.
Yeah.
And it was mostly just because I revere you so much. I was like, don't take credit for her work. But it's the
everyone wins at the end of the day.
Everyone does.
Legislation passes.
Being a part of Academy Health, you know how important those trade organizations are towards shifting public policy, because when the policy changes, that's how when the policy changes or it's activated, it now gives tools for businesses in the private industry to now make that magic and do things accessibly. Like, Lisa, I'm sure you have a lot of great examples, like what your company's doing with Access right now. Like, that wouldn't have been done unless there was the public policy change.
Yeah, I mean, I think all that is true. I do think it's important for people to understand that like you're saying, like, it just takes more, it takes a bunch of people generally working over a long period of time. And there are usually a lot of setbacks, right? Like, there's, and we can just talk about Access really quickly. One of the areas where there are definitely some other companies who are part of this effort to try and bring in some kind of sensible reimbursement for digital health tools and Medicare.
Yeah.
And that ended up being this outcomes driven payment model, which is about to launch in July. And some of those companies who were part of that are not actually going to be in the model because they don't like where it landed. They don't like where it landed from a reimbursement perspective. And that's something that happens, right? You just, but it is many people, usually ups and downs, setbacks here and there, and that's eventually how something like this happens, which is generally positive. Can we talk about the kind of companies that are coming out of this? We've interviewed a number of them on the show before. So give us some examples, like who's out there right now, who you funded in the past, who you're excited about, like who have you helped get funding, who you're excited about, like say more.
Like what's the profile? Like what
Yeah.
kind of company makes it?
Yeah.
Less than 500 employees. All the work needs to be done domestically according to SBA guidelines. And there's a lot of, like, we get a lot of great companies. And, you know, one of the things that I love doing is, particularly with the business program discussion, and saying, like, this, you know, if you were talking, you know, I know you've got a relationship and used to be in business with Mr. Klomp, but one of the things I really admired that you did, Kat, was that you went to where there's health disparities populations. You went to where the customers are. And that's what I think SBIR is great for. It's just be like, hey, I've got a hunch that there's a customer market here, you know, would say, you know, we need to, like, I'll give, like, you know, taking, for example, like one of the companies that NIH funded was funded by neurology for, you know, hydrocephalus. And they're now taking the usability grants and testing it in like Puerto Rico and bilingual settings and rural settings. So those are like some of the great things that I think SBIR does, is taking those phase ones of those $314,000 grants and allowing people to do research, because they are research grants, and testing not only how to further the innovation on an existing product, but how to actually reach, like, go to Alaska. You might be like, well, nobody's going to give me, I don't want to give away equity to do research on a patient market in Alaska or like Southern Mississippi, where Jen's originally from. But I think scientifically the evidence is there that this could be a major patient market for which we can open up access. And Jen can speak on behalf of New York. She's much more involved in therapeutics and biosciences. I'm more in service delivery.
Yeah, I mean, I would also say, like, you know, we're getting right. So reauthorization, yay, right? Money flowing from stalled grants, yay. But let's talk about what's coming up, right? So new opportunities for funding. Our early stage companies are preparing, right, to seek new funding once that window opens. You know, we're working. Mike was great about connecting my team with the different institutes at NIH. So we're preparing to have, you know, lunch and learns and webinars and things like that, right, for our early stage companies. Because if you think about it, we've had this gap, right? It'll be like, what, almost a year that companies weren't able to apply for new grant funding under this program. So you've got new companies that have come into the mix. You have ones that may have had turnover of staff, so they don't know. So we're also trying to educate. We actually have a fellows program, and that's for early stage companies that have raised less than 7.5 million. So very, very early stage. And so we help shepherd them through a whole host of programmatic things, including pitch competitions and mentorship and these types of things, like information on how they need to apply for grants, what they need to be thinking about, what, you know, how to get their act together to make sure it is the best, they're putting their best possible foot forward. So we have programs around that because we have so many great early stage companies, and we want to make sure they're as successful as they can be.
Yeah. And there's not going to be specific RFAs. It's going to be open applications for September, January, and April. And I always tell people, don't sleep on September. Don't sleep on January, because a lot of people are just so inundated by the holidays, and, you know, they miss that January 5th deadline. January 5th is always, I'm like, that's the best place to apply. But you're also eligible to get scored and discussed and eligible for that year's fiscal year money too.
Yeah.
So it's all about, it's like, that's one of the reasons why it's important. And then, you know, in my official capacity, because now I'm just kind of, you know, we talk to your SBIR program people about, because we spend a lot of time with applicants, and we love our referrals, and we love talking about how to grow your business and what other funding opportunities are available. But a lot of it is, we want to make sure that as a business, you're there because that's creating jobs in upstate New York, in Syracuse, and Long Island, and my home state of Connecticut. You know, it's all about, like, getting resources out there so that jobs can be created, so that they can help further the health of the nation.
Love it. Love it. Well, and I also want to go back, Mike, you brought up Academy Health, and I do a lot of unpaid volunteer work for Academy
I'm
Health.
going to ask you this, Jen. So Kat's from Roswell, Georgia, and she was taking a Uber from downtown HHS to Bethesda, and I said, take the metro, traffic's bad. And I think she said, "Well, it ain't Atlanta traffic." What did you say when you got out of your black car?
It was way worse than Atlanta traffic by multiples. Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah. So I Academy Health is a nonpartisan organization. But their members though often lean left because researchers, universities, academics, right? That's just how it is. And I do want to give you a lot of credit though, because a lot of times, again, like you said, like don't blow up, like just be cool. Like it's like a grind, and you have to just do these things and keep at it. And I will say to Academy Health's credit again, because their members were like very upset, and that their entire industry just got rocked, right? And I know SBIR is definitely a much less controversial topic, right? Like I think people know small business is good for America, whether you're left or right or center, whatever. But as a Republican who does try to really advocate for Academy Health, a lot of the work we had to do was just let our members know that we're going to go talk to some Republicans. We're going to have a message. We're not going to go yell at anyone, right? And just like letting them know, like getting them over that hump that like it's okay, and like we have to be able to talk to them, and we can't yell at anyone, because then we're going to be doing the same thing, right? So I just want to say that, like much like our behavioral health lobbyist friend who gave us the war stories, that is a lot of work. So props to you for getting that done, especially corralling multiple other state organizations.
Yeah, but thank you for that. But it's great for people to understand, and because I do think that we've lost a little bit of the desire or willingness to work across the aisle, no matter sort of where you sit. And so I think when we do have an organization that spans a lot of different viewpoints and interests, making sure that you are working with both sides of the aisle to talk about the impact to your state is like the impact to their constituents is a way to move the needle, no matter whether you're a Democrat, Republican, or independent, right? I think that is key. And it's easy when you're just reading headlines or Twitter or whatever to forget about that. That's how you move the needle with your members of Congress, is to talk about the impact on your individual area.
Hey, Jen, if I can, I've never asked you this before, but you were like leading the state bio associations, but SBIR in general covers devices, it covers services, it covers a whole plethora. Was there any coordination with any of the other industries? And if so, how did that, because that's almost like a very big campaign if it had to happen.
Yeah. So yes, there was coordination. So we coordinated, and as well as the team at Bio, right, in Washington, D.C. They have, lobbyists that were focused on this. And so they were great about coordinating with academic institutions, right, because of the tech transfer, right, the academic funding under the STTR, part of the SBIR STTR program. And then we focused on delivering our message, and others were delivering their message. We worked with AdvaMed as well, right? Another national trade association around medical devices. All were fantastic partners. And the goal was to bring local stories to members of Congress to impress upon them, not only the importance of the program, but the urgency of getting it reauthorized as soon as possible. Because once a lapse happens, it's much harder sometimes to get things moving, right? The urgency is right before expiration. And then once it expires, then, and in this case, right, it was exacerbated by the shutdown, right? And so shutdown and the lapse in the entire program occurred the same moment, actually. So yeah, so that was an exacerbation that was unfortunate. But it created opportunities for us to talk about the program some more.
I think one of the things is once a program gets shut down, it takes a long time to get the machine started up again. Like there's rules, guidelines, like the funding opportunities finally came out. They've got to be out there in a certain amount of time. There's a whole bunch of stuff that changed with foreign risk and the amount of time that people can apply. And, but this is all like, from my perspective, I can only react, which is why I'm lucky I've got a great, don't coordinate with Jen, but I'm like, it's great to have trusted partners that that are advocating and leading in this area for your companies, because we deal with all the companies, and for me personally, I care because this is a job creator.
Yep. No, I agree. Like we said, bet on small business is a bet on America.
Create some
That's what we're here
jobs.
for. That's right. We are into it, 100%. And I do encourage all of our startup friends who are, we actually, I think Lisa and I both get a lot of questions like, can you introduce us to VCs? When a lot of times there's funding sources like this that are non-dilutive, really supportive, help with a lot of things that maybe you can't immediately tie to an ARR for an investor, like once and done therapeutics and things like that. So check out the program. Like Mike said, there's 3 different periods to apply, and maybe, I don't know, call Jen too. I don't know. But yeah, so you guys,
Jennifer knows all the bio associations, and she's just an amazing resource.
Yes. Even if you're not in New York, I can connect you with the right people in your state.
Love it.
Amazing.
Love it.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you to you both. We're going to go have our weekends, and I'm sure people can find you on the internet, or if there's anywhere else they should find you, let them know now. Oh my God.
You want a treat, Winnie?
Dogs are saying hi.
Yeah, you got both.
The dogs are coming in hot. All right. Okay. Well,
all right. Thanks,
both.
everybody.
Appreciate it.
See you
Talk to you
later.
later. Thanks a lot.
Bye.